youngsters who were in need of a job, and lo and behold, they gave me your number, and that's how we got started. But we have been able to feed Woody Crest feeds once a week, every Wednesday, from 12 to about 2. And between picking up food at the Yankee Stadium, at City Field, at Madison Square Garden, it has been a tremendous help. They feed over about 100 people a day, and the Harlem Welcome Table at Metropolitan Community United Methodist Church in Harlem feeds 4 days a week. And so they pick up, during the baseball season and also the basketball season. And we have also been picking up from the film industry. We picked up basically this week at least 4 days. Today will make the 4th day that we picked up, and we're able to feed persons who are in shelters, at the soup kitchens, and it is a tremendous help. And people are very appreciative. We have also began, while I'm at Trinity United Methodist Church in White Plains, we've been able to even fix plates of food and take it to seniors who are shut in. And that is a tremendous help, so that they don't have to cook. So I'm very appreciative of that.
Well, I'm going to go backtrack a little bit and talk a little bit about the sport program in general, and then I'm going to speak a little about how the program fits into the mission of Rock and Wrap It Up. Yes. We've been very, very blessed to have incredible partners that understand that they themselves can make a difference. And the key is to empower people to step to the plate and say, if this is an asset that has value to me, then it's an asset that may have value to someone that is in need. And because of the general nature of sports, there always has to be an extra hot dog on the grill. There got to be fries. There got to be all the kinds of food that people buy at stadiums. Because the purveyor, the stadium hires these huge organizations. The purveyor at Citi Field is Airmark.
Yes.
The purveyor at Giant Stadium is Delaware North.
Yes.
The purveyor at Yankee Stadium is Legends Catering.
Yes.
All of these purveyors are hired to make money for both the stadium, make money for themselves. But in order to do that, there always has to be food on the grill. When the game ends and they haven't sold it all, before Rock and Wrap It Up got involved in 2003, all that food went into landfill. It got thrown away because they couldn't find a way of saving it for future events. Rock and Wrap It Up saw the waste taking place because of the vision, first of a baseball player and his wife. In 2002, I did an interview for a magazine, Detroit, called Detroit Hours. It was the equivalent of New York Magazine.
Yes.
And that magazine, I had asked them not to focus on me, but focus on the volunteer that we had in New York that was picking up food at rock concert. Well, in 2002, the day goes by. We got some nice phone calls, people that wanted to pick up food at rock concerts in Detroit. And then in May of 2003, I got an interesting email. It said, "Dear Mr. Mandelbaum, my name is Brooke Marat. My husband's a pitcher on the Detroit Tigers. I just read about your efforts in Detroit at Detroit Hours magazine, and I was interested to know, could we look into picking up food at Comerica Stadium? Because I hear that food's being thrown away." Well, I emailed her back, let's talk immediately on the phone, which we did. And within a very short period of time, we were able to collect the food from the clubhouse where all the players had both a pre- and post-game meal. And that meal actually was supplied on a contract by Outback Steakhouse. And players, sometimes they're hungry, sometimes they're not. The reality was that 2003 was probably the worst season in the Detroit Tiger history. They lost 120 games. And my friend Mike Marath became the losingest pitcher in modern times. His record was 9-21 with a 4.0 ERA. For those that are not baseball fans, had he been pitching for the Yankees in that year, his record probably would have been 21 and nothing with an ERA that was that low. But the Tigers produced no runs. Players did not eat. We picked up a load of food from the Tigers in 2003. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that the winter before this, both Mike and Brooke were born again and wanted to serve Christ through some means and called up Rock and Wrap It Up with that in mind. And I was very, very blessed because this organization really started because of both of my parents, who are Jewish Holocaust survivors, survived concentration camp, met after the war. Most of their family was murdered. And I started Rock and Wrap It Up as a testament to their survival. And here we have Mike and Brooke Marath coming to us wanting to serve God in such a way as to help the world. I could not have been more humble. Well, in 2004, we honored Mike and Brooke Marath with the Good Samaritan Award that we gave out that year. And Mike and Brooke Marath, when Mike was pitching at Yankee Stadium that year, made time, and we honored him at Mickey Mantle's restaurant on West 59th Street. And we had a great honoring, and quite a number of Detroit Tiger staff came. 4 or 5 players came. But also, his idol growing up was none other than Tom Glavine on the Mets. And I asked the Mets to if they could send a representative, and sure enough, they did. Dave Howard came to represent the Mets, and he brought Mike Marath a signed Tom Glavine shirt.
Excellent.
Which was just beautiful. And at that luncheon that we had, I had my board bring people that were interested in the organization, and one of my active board members, Cliff Greenberg, who's a partner with Barron Capital, brought a brand new young guy named Michael Fishman. And Michael heard me speak, and I was passionate about the effect that we felt we had. We felt that sports could become the next rock star, so to speak. We already had sung over 100 rock bands to give food to us. And we wound up giving this award to Mike. Sure enough, Michael Fishman went back and called me the next day and said, "Sid, I do a lot of work with the New York Football Giants, and I'm close friends with Wellington Mara and Bob Tisch, who were the owners of the Giants. I'd like to speak to them." And Michael did. And after the football season of 2004, Diane is my wife, also VP of Operations for Rock and Wrap It Up. We met with the New York Football Giants in New Jersey, and we were just, in awe of their operation. Within 2 weeks, they came back and said, "We want to be your team, but we don't want to give you just clubhouse food. How would you like to have food from our concessions?" And at that point, I said, "Oh my God."
Excellent.
And that is how we got involved with the New York Football Giants. And then they went, Denise, with us. They gave us incredible director of operations, community affairs, named Allison Stengerby.
Mm-hmm.
Allison Stengerby went to Yankee Stadium with Diane and I. I did my presentation about poverty in America, about poverty in the South Bronx, and reasons why they should join Rock and Wrap It Up and the New York Football Giants. But Allison gets up with her bling ring. She had on her giant ring, her beautiful Super Bowl ring, and said, "Guys, the Giants are doing this. You got to do it." and she kind of shamed the Yankees into doing it. And the Yankees joined us next, as did the New York Mets. Allison got us the Jets, and we were in business. And in 2005, this is our 10th year, starting our 10th season with these teams. We started food recovery in the New York area, and within a very, very short period of time, we were able to get the different leagues involved. Allison got us contacts with the Philadelphia Eagles. We met with the St. Louis team at that time. And then they all joined us. And now I'm just humbled to say we have 76 sport franchises. And for those that can only imagine how much food that is, we are in a place that we're looking to expand in so many ways, especially overseas. I will tell you this, that Rock and Wrap It Up has had meetings, and Saeed asked about working to work poverty throughout the world. We are now in Canada, where through the National Hockey League, every hockey team in North America is a partner of Rock and Wrap It Up. Denise picks up from Ranger games, and we have other organizations that pick up from Devil games, but we have every hockey team in the U.S. and Canada giving us their food. A couple of weeks ago, Diane and I came to us and said, can you help us? We want to have soccer and bring a soccer stadium into the Bronx. And we just had an incredible meeting. This is the Yankees. And they became the North American representative for Manchester City. For those that know soccer, it's one of the premier leagues. It's part of the English League, along with Manchester United and with Arsenal and some of the other teams that are in the United Kingdom. But this might be something, Saeed, that we can do in India and in Pakistan. If there are sports stadiums that have concession stands, this is something that we may be able to export to other countries. We have tried doing this with Barcelona, which is one of the other premier soccer teams. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to use these very, very simple tactics and strategies that can be used in other places. I'd like to talk a little bit about some of our other programs, and for those that are not familiar with it, I see Saeed's calling in from Pakistan. We have programs with some of the large hotel chains, and we have Jim Spellos on the line also. We'll talk a little bit about that. Saeed, if there is a sports stadium in Kashmir and they have concessions, there's no reason why we can't inquire what is being done, food that's prepared but not served at the sports stadium. A lot of people don't think about this, and it's not something that we're able to do. Let me just shut this off. Sorry. One of the items that can be done is you can speak to the team's management themselves, because if you could put pressure on the team ownership, if the team is owned possibly by the city of Kashmir, there's no reason why the ownership can't work with you to see and just inquire, is there food left over at the end of a soccer match at your sports stadium? It's a fair question to ask, because a lot of times people don't know what to do with food that is generated. And we should be able to take concrete steps in doing this. The key is to take advantage of the business of why people are involved in business. People are involved in business to do more business. People are involved in business to make money the next day so they can keep hiring people. Uh, the nature of business is to keep your doors open the next day. That's what I learned when I got my MBA. It's all about staying open. But if your business, because of the way or the field that you're in, there's a chance that your business is generating an asset that may be going into landfill. And Rock and Wrap It Up, as a anti-poverty think tank, tries to find assets that can be shared with people like Reverend Denise Pickett and her flock. The key is we want nothing going into landfill that could help the poor. And we believe that if we can reduce the amount of money that is being spent on these assets, then I believe it would give Denise a way to have more money. If she doesn't have to buy food, Denise can use her money for a lot of other things. Denise, why don't you talk a little bit about
that? Right now, we are presently have a soup kitchen, and we work with several other agencies to help supply the food to their agencies. So, it would, when we don't have to purchase food, then we can purchase things like freezers or refrigerators. And not only that, I'm working with 10 other soup kitchens, shelters, a women's shelter in White Plains and a men's shelter in White Plains. And all of these assets that we receive certainly help those who are less fortunate than ourselves to make it the next step. And you're absolutely right, Sid, in terms of, in order for us to make it the next day, we're going to have to do something. We want to do better the following day. So through Rock and Wrap It Up, we've been very fortunate to pick up from television studios and the film crews, and it's been just a wonderful asset to just be a part of Rock and Wrap It Up.
I will say one thing that we have found working, and we work with thousands of agencies like Denise throughout the U.S. and Canada. I think that the key is that so many of the people that Denise feeds are not homeless people in the street. They are people that are just getting by. They are people that are near poverty. They are lower middle class. They're people that have jobs. But by Denise giving them food, we're saving them money to spend on clothing, to spend on rent, to spend on medicines, to spend on their children, maybe getting tutors and maybe getting job training. By we adding to the capitalistic aggregate that is in this country, we know that it's being filtered down into all other agencies and all peoples. I have found over the years that if a child is hungry, they can't learn. Sure. And there are so many children that come to this country that don't qualify, sadly, for the federal food grants. That's been a big issue. And sometimes children may eat at school, but when they get home, there's no food. And if we could share with them, you, Denise, already give a lot of your food to people that are homebound. The reality is that there's not enough food. There's a number that Saeed had just quoted to us, and I will tell you what the number is that the U.S. Department of Agriculture quoted to us. There's over 130 billion pounds of food, 130 billion pounds of food that are thrown away each year in the United States. It's enough to feed everyone that hungers in this country 5 times over every day. And that is our reality. I wake up every morning thinking that we're not doing enough. I have to continually find ways to get more people food. And I'm always looking for new partnerships to be able to do that. But in this country, and this is the number that is so scary, 49 million Americans are food insecure. In a country of 300 million, 49 million Americans are food insecure. If you add to that the people that don't fill out census forms, the number is even higher than 49 million. In the 2010 census, over 100 million Americans checked the box off that said that they were near poverty. That's 1 out of every 3 Americans felt they were near poverty. And I believe that number wholeheartedly. All of us see that read the paper that there is a huge, huge issue with the stock market. If you were to look at the stock market, you'd think everyone in this country is a millionaire. The reality is that less than 20% of Americans are invested in the stock market. And 80% are not invested. So 80% have not seen the growth of capital coming from the stock market. We have seen the job roles, unemployment is, they said, under 7% now. The reality is it's not under 7%. It's 7% that's reported. How many people have stopped getting unemployment checks? They just went out after 70 weeks. There is an underground group that are absolutely not benefiting in this country. And we have ways of measuring this, but from some of the things that we've been able to do, we've been able to get money to these countries. And if the people in Canada do not have to, their soup kitchens, they're in the same shape I was in. If we can continually to get them food on a regular basis, we are opening up so much more money that they could use for job training and tutors and social workers.
That's right.
And that is, that is the message of Rock and Wrap It Up. We need to continually to get more assets to the poor. And I believe that, one of the things that, one of the areas that we're looking to grow in, Denise, do you do any of the pickups at the hotels?
The hotel that we've been regular on is at the Ritz-Carlton on Central Park West.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Those assets at the hotels are soap, shampoo, even they have other assets as well. They had pillows and other kinds of items that would help people rather than, and as a matter of fact, we just picked up this week on Monday and went to one of our shelters, which is nearby, and then at our soup kitchens, we bag up those assets and pass them out at several of our soup kitchens. And that, those kinds of items are very expensive, and so it is very helpful to our clients.
I think that most people don't understand that the higher-end hotels, the Ritz-Carltons, the Pierres, the Marriott Marquis, whenever a guest checks out of their room, the entire vanity is thrown away. The entire vanity. And before we got involved in this, we literally had to, wrestle with our conscience. How could you throw an entire vanity away when, toilet paper is so expensive, tissues are so expensive, shampoo and conditioner is so expensive? What we're doing now is we are looking to partner all of these, to get all of these products to agencies like Denise. Right now in New York, we have 20 hotels that give us their toilet paper, tissue, shampoo, and conditioner. I'm sure that in other parts of the world, probably in Kashmir, if there are higher-end hotels in some of their larger cities, I don't know what they're doing with their assets. But I will tell you that these assets have saved agencies. I'll quote the Bowery Mission. The Bowery Mission, one of the largest agencies in the United States, over 900 meals 3 times a day.
That's right.
The Bowery Mission has not purchased toilet paper in 5 years because they recover twice a week from the Marriott Marquis. They have not had to buy shampoo and conditioners. The ability of saving them this kind of money is incredible, but it also gives them the ability of giving people individual, for hygienic reasons, individual little shampoo and conditioners that they don't have to take an entire Costco-sized bottle, which sometimes happens. So there's a good chance that this hotel wrap project is going to gain momentum. Jim Spellos, who is online, is a professor at NYU, and Jim has made contacts in the hospitality industry. And I know I've done some interviews, I'll be doing others, that we believe that the hotel industry, the hotel sector, is the next area that Rock and Wrap It Up can have incredible impact throughout the United States and the rest of the world. I will tell you this, that as we develop new tools, I'm going to mention, Denise, the Whole Earth Calculator.
Yes.
This is a tool that we have a mobile app that can be downloaded. It'll be on our website in a couple of weeks. That a baseball team, the New York Yankees, want to know at the end of a season how many pounds of food they have donated, and we have a spreadsheet that Denise fills out after she picks up from the Yankees. And at the end of the season, we convert all of the pounds that Denise has picked up into total number of meals, as well as greenhouse gas emission reduction numbers. And I will tell you that one of the incredible things is that the mobile app that Jim Spellos helped develop from our embedded spreadsheet enables a single client. In this case, we used it for the National Football League for the Super Bowl. We were able to send out the mobile app not only converts poundage into meals and greenhouse gas numbers, but it also sends out a tweet and it sends out a post for Facebook so that you can crow about this whole item. And it's, as Jim had said, this is a real-time way of sharing to the world what your company, what your team has done. The NFL put this out, and we were able to put this out in press releases right after the Super Bowl. I hate even saying to everybody out there the numbers. 50,000 pounds of food were donated to the poor through people like Denise and other agencies from, I think, 12 different NFL events during Super Bowl week. 50,000 pounds. The equivalent of about 40,000 meals that equal, and 35,000 pounds of CO2, 33,000 pounds of methane were not released into the atmosphere. And all of this was able to come out of the Whole Earth Calculator. Our goal in the coming months is going to be to have a Whole Earth Calculator also include paper products and plastics that hotels donate, so that a hotel can send out a tweet and send out a post that they have stopped XYZ pounds of plastics going into landfill, thereby not increasing the heat index that people are so nervous about as our planet goes into the future. And these greenhouse gas numbers are numbers that may not have a lot of people interested in them right now, but as Rock and Wrap It Up continues to grow this, as our think tank comes up with more and more solutions and more tactics and strategies, our goal is to get as many hotels thinking as our sports teams think. Throw nothing away if there is one person in need in this world. There's no reason to throw anything away if Rock and Wrap It Up can partner Denise Pickett with a Ritz-Carlton hotel, or with the New York Yankees, or with Citi Field. And if you look at Denise, I hate calling you generic Denise, but Denise is generic. There are hundreds and hundreds of reverends like Denise Pickett that know their congregations are in dire need of these assets. And if they could get them at no cost at all, then, Rock and Wrap It Up has to do that. And, we're always in need of additional resources. We're doing an event on March 27th. You can go to our website, rockandwrapitup.org. If you're interested in coming to the event, we're honoring Michael Fishman at the City Winery. City Winery is on Barrack Street, one of the really cool places. We have an incredible band that's going to be playing that night. You could purchase a ticket on our website. If you're under 28, we are discounting the ticket pretty much by half because we want to have a lot of younger people there. The band is called The Main Squeeze, and they cover bands. They have their own music, but they'll cover bands from Jimi Hendrix to the Allman Brothers, the Grateful Dead, all and every band that has soulful music, they've been able to do. And our goal really is to get as many people to come as possible. Jim, thank you for putting up that attachment. We just had a question asked, is there a problem with spoilage rather than throwing out the food? We have a process. One of the reasons why teams want to partner with us is this. Denise Pickett has to fill certain criteria to be a partner of Rock and Wrap It Up. Refrigeration. Denise has transportation. She has storage. She has an ongoing program. Denise has the ability of going online and recording what she has recovered. And all of that is important to us because if the most important thing for us is that Denise is safely giving food to the poor. And that's her main goal and objective. She does not want to waste any food. We pick up food right after an event, or in the case of films, the food is frozen in freezers at the different studios. So we understand, that we want to have as much edible leftover food going to the poor as possible. But in some cases, the food is not edible, especially food that's on a buffet. We never take food that is on a buffet. Once it goes out, it goes into the garbage. That food should be going into composting. And all spoilage that is applicable should be able to be composted, and there are great composting agencies throughout the New York area. We are firm believers in both the U.S. Department of Agriculture as well as the EPA that say reduce, reuse, recycle. And if we can save more food, well, that's our goal. Our goal is to have as many pounds of food not being thrown away, but going to the poor. The items that we get are almost like you going on a midnight run to Taco Bell. When Denise goes to Madison Square Garden, she gets there about 10:15, Denise?
Yes.
10:30. And she's back at her church at 11:15. And that food is going directly into a refrigerator for to use the next day. I have been to the Woody Crest agency, and I know that the most important thing is getting the food into the refrigerator quickly, just like you would do if you went to one of the fast food places. And I really want to talk a little bit about our great partners that we have. The first arena to join us was Jones Beach Theater. In 1990, a gentleman by the name of Ron Delsner, who is a rock promoter, I was invited to speak to him through the widow of a band that he handled called Harry Chapin. Harry Chapin's widow, Sandy Chapin, had a food bank called Long Island Cares, and she approached Ron Delsner to get funding for Long Island Cares. Well, Ron said, I don't have any money, but I have food left over at Jones Beach Theater. And that got me thinking, well, if there's food left over there, maybe it could feed the hungry. And in 1991, Rock and Wrap It Up started picking up food at Jones Beach Theater, and that's how we got our name, Rock and Wrap It Up. We continued to do that for many years, and the first bands to join us, and I love giving Ron Delsner credit. The first bands that joined us were Rolling Stones, Aerosmith, Bruce Hornsby, Nine Inch Nails, Michael Bolton, Fish, Candlebox. These were all the first bands to join Rock and Wrap It Up in the summer of 1994 when we took this program nationally through MTV. And we now have hundreds of bands that use their contract rider, to give their food to the poor. Jim Spello's put up on the board, you can see it, Hungerpedia. We have a resource on our website that I named Hungerpedia. It's an encyclopedia of anti-poverty agencies throughout the United States. And Hungerpedia is the place that if you're making an event in another part of this country, I put this out here because I once had an incredible event from someone in Paris that was doing an event in Dallas. And I was able to get them a soup kitchen in Dallas to actually pick the food up. Denise, a question for you.
Yes.
How do you help the hungry maintain their dignity and self-respect?
Well, what we do is when we're serving, persons actually come to us from, like I said, we serve all over. We have soup kitchens in White Plains. We have soup kitchens in Harlem. We have soup kitchens in the Bronx. And we actually, when persons come to us, they usually just sign in. We have a way of greeting them, radically hospitable. We want folks to know that we care about them. In feeding them, it's not just about feeding them some food, but also offering them an opportunity to interact with persons that really care about them. And so, we don't worry about where they've come from or what they have or what they don't have. It's more important about how we care for them. And so we desire and we make sure that, their dignity is maintained during that time. And if there's any other way that we can possibly help them, we try to do that as well.
I would say that not only does Denise do a great job at this, most of the shelters that we go into, Denise, you could probably, tell there's a huge percentage of senior citizens, sadly.
Yes.
There's a huge percentage of children. The majority of the people that we are trying to help, again, are not the homeless. There are places that specialize in dealing with the homeless. The majority of the agencies that work with Rock and Wrap It Up are working with people that are working people. And they need these assets. So they already are coming in because they want their dollars to go further.
That's right.
And, that's the kind of agency that Rock and Wrap It Up tries to really sort out. I'll let Denise talk a little bit more about it, but I know that the key is the support that they get from people like Denise.
You have persons who have just lost their jobs, might have 2 or 3 children, and unable to pay the rent for a certain amount of time. So by them coming to us, they're able to use that money that they would otherwise use on food to pay the other necessities that they actually have. And, I mean, we have people that come with, 2 and 3 children. And so, if we're able to feed a family of 4 or 5, it does our heart good. And it also helps them to sustain and to maintain their dignity as they go throughout life. And so we don't want to see through people. Our goal is to help people and to see through their journey in their life, to make it through. And so, that's really important to us as we feed the seniors who aren't able to get out anymore, aren't able to, stretch their dollars anymore, because of medications and because of trying to get back and forth to their doctors. And there are persons who are just getting back to work, and it helps them to maintain their personal dignity as we continue to help them.
We have a question that came up. Are we able to help people with certain food restrictions? Interestingly enough, there are quite a number of people that we deal with. If you live in the 5 towns on Long Island, there are kosher soup kitchens that have opened up. If you are a Muslim, there are kitchens that have opened up through the imams that we have dealt with. Rock and Wrap It Up is a resource. There are 5 soup kitchens that have opened up by an organization called Masbia, a gentleman by the name of Alex Rappaport, who I have helped. So if people have dietary needs, if they email Rock and Wrap It Up, we can lead them in the right directions. If someone, though, is diabetic, it's very difficult to have specific foods. We don't have budgets for this. The reality is that we're only as good as the food that's donated to us. If there are people in a congregation that can help someone that may have food restrictions, I know that our congregation, I belong to Temple Bethel in Cedarhurst, and I pray every morning. We have paupers that come to us, and our rabbi gives them $10 when they come in. And we've had beggars in our congregations as Jewish people for the last 5,000 years. Denise knows in Leviticus there is a pronouncement that you have to leave whatever falls on the ground.
That's right.
Vineyard, right. For the poor and for the stranger. So in the Judeo-Christian religions, there has always been encouragement to help those that are of need, and we've been able to have that. There's a question that came up: do we take any food from farmers markets? The answer is, on occasion. Many farmers markets are in the business of making money. A lot of the markets that come in from other parts of New York State, some coming from Pennsylvania, from Jersey, and organizations like City Harvest have tried to do that. If you can speak to the agencies there, if the food is edible, we want the food to go to the poor. And we had an interesting happen about 4 years ago. There was a film shoot in Santa Barbara, and Rock and Wrap It Up was able to pick up the film. It was from a movie called It's Complicated, which I think was Alec Baldwin and Meryl Streep. And they had a farmer's market set up in the film, which never made it in the film. But 6,000 pounds of food were picked up by Rock and Wrap It Up through the Santa Barbara food bank. We had made up with them, and they had so much food that they literally had to cook everything to make sure that it could be stretched out a little bit further. Um, One of the things that I think are so important is to get youth involved. And if any of you that are listening or watching, uh, the Rock and Wrap It Up school programs are made to sensitize children because our belief has always been it is through the young that the world will change. It's not that I've given up on people over 60, but in many cases they're very hard to change their ways. But give me a 10-year-old, and you give me a 10-year-old for 10 minutes, and I will have that 10-year-old wanting to change the world. And we have curriculum, and we have Rock and Wrap It Up school programs. But one program that is an amazing program, which was started by both the New York Mets and the New York Football Giants, is a program called Snack Wrap, where Rock and Wrap It Up supplies boxes to gather unopened, healthy bag snacks to be, in most cases, kept in the school because after-school programs are so underfunded. It is it's one of the tragedies that in an economy now that sadly is based on dual-income households. In order to make it, you probably have to have both parents and then some working. So many children are left in after-school programs, and those programs don't have snacks for kids. So we came up with this idea that if the community, and as Hillary Clinton said in her book 15 years ago, it takes a village to raise a child. The reality is that if kept for children after school, if there are programs like the NISAs, those snacks could be given to programs so that they could be shared with children of need. And you need to teach children at a very young age to do charity work. Sometimes they don't see it at home. And we have done this time and time again, that if they don't see it in the house, how are they going to learn it? If you could give programs out that tap into the child's morality, the child's ethics, that is where we can facilitate change in this world. And it doesn't matter where the child lives. The reality is that there has to be programs that the schools have to foster to teach children that they could make a difference. When I started doing this, and I've been doing this since 1987, I will tell you that I never thought I would do this for a living. And at this point, I am retired. I get Social Security running Rock and Wrap It Up because I felt success. I felt that I changed the world. And that feeling is such a great feeling that you could change the world, that it is self-sustaining. It's my sustenance. When I feel that I am feeding a lot more people, oh my God. As I said earlier, I don't think I'm doing enough. I wake up in the morning, I'm going, what am I missing today? What else could I be doing? Who else could I be motivating? But the key is, more than anything else, that if that person at the young age, and I use the age of 10 because if I get a 10-year-old thinking that they could make a difference in this world, I don't care in 5 years from now that they're not fighting poverty. But if they've had success with Rock and Wrap It Up in changing the world, maybe they'll volunteer for AIDS. Maybe they'll volunteer for sickle cell. Maybe they'll volunteer for diabetes. They'll volunteer for children that have autism. They'll volunteer for cancer. They'll volunteer for things that they believe they can change the world with. It doesn't matter what they do. The key is that they should be doing something. And that is where Rock and Wrap It Up has a huge responsibility to continue to do and find as a think tank. I hate castigating America or the world. The reality is there's not enough think tanks that are attacking poverty in this world. There are think tanks for every other malady that besets Americans, besets world residents. But how many think tanks are there that are trying to fight poverty? And they're very, very few. Rocket Wrap It Up has come up with great ideas, but if there was another 3 or 4 agencies that were fighting poverty, oh my God, how many more things could we come up with? Maybe we could come up with, the Whole Earth Calculator came up because we were, doing this with different teams. And if any of you want to be interns this summer for Rocket Wrap It Up, I'm looking for interns. My goal this summer is to take the Whole Earth Calculator to the Fortune 100 companies that make up this world. But not go to the CEO of the company, go to the board of directors of that company and say to the doing to have compassion to your people that are of need. How successful your Fortune 100 company is in giving back to this planet. I need to do that because I now have a tool that we could quantify and codify and give out for people definitive numbers that they could use to even market for themselves. I see no reason why you can't use the Whole Earth Calculator to put on your own websites, to tweet, to go out there and say, oh my God, can't we do a better job? Who is doing this? And that is the key. Now, I'm back to New York. I can't pay for your airfare, Saeed, but I can give you a great project. I would love to be able to think that everyone could give back in some way. I go to our website, rocketwrapitup.org, and we have a volunteer form on our website. We love to be judged more than anything else. We love to be judged by the partners that we keep. And from the very, very beginning, we have been able to motivate billionaires and multimillionaires that have compassion, that are able to say, wow, I want to work with Rocket Wrap It Up because they are doing something that is pushing the envelope. There are so many great charities that are out there, and we're not in competition with them. We believe that, sadly, with 49 million Americans that are food insecure, we need millions of people going out there to help the needs of the poor. It can't just be us. We have to be able to motivate so many more people to go out there and fight the fight. This is a battle. The battle of poverty, it's a war. And we have to fight little battles every day to win this war on poverty. And in my lifetime, I hope, hopefully I'll live another 30 years. The reality is I'm not. I need people to replace me.
That's right.
That will be able to take up the many kinds of things that we have done. Take the things that we have done that need to continue. It's a battle, and I will tell you that we are winning it in this way. I always like to think, when I'm down in the dumps sometimes, and I read statistics that irk the shit out of me, that we think we're doing a lot more, and all of a sudden, oh my God, I'm like Sisyphus pushing a boulder. I like to think, and Denise, I'd like you to grab this inside of you. What would the world be like if there was no Rock and Wrap It Up? What would the world be like if there was no Denise Pickett and all the people that you are helping and the thousands of agencies that benefit from the work that we've done? And that's really what keeps me doing what I do, because I believe that we continue to motivate people, and the more people that we reduce from this disease of poverty, how much better would this country be if crime was down? How much better would this country be if health was better? And all this is predicated on poverty. If you reduce poverty levels, you're going to increase health. You're going to decrease crime. You're going to be doing all the things that the population wants to see. I don't want to have to look over my shoulder walking down the street because someone is hungry and may mug me because they don't have money in their pocket for a meal.
That's right.
If you take all of these together, that's why we need to be able to work together. And as we come up with these new ideas, we come up with these new tactics and strategies. Some of them don't work. I throw them away. Enough of them do work that we move forward. There has been one inventor that didn't have, 10 failures before they came up with something that worked. Well, I believe that with everything. And Rocket Wrap It Up has been around. It's our 24th year. We failed a lot. But what we've succeeded in has fed over 1 billion people in this world. And feeding more every day. I love knowing that every morning when I wake up, there's a chance that 100,000 people are going to eat because of our efforts. Because that's what we've been able to do on a continental basis. So I'm going to wrap up in a couple of minutes. I don't have much time left. If there are any other questions that people want us to answer, please put them in. We are available on Facebook. We're available. If you want to sign up and get tweets from us, please do that. My tweet handle is just Rocky Wrap, ROCKYWRAP. Website, rocketwrapitup.org. Our phone number is 1-877-691-FOOD. People call me every day. I got to return some phone calls. I know I got a call from Las Vegas from a place called 3 Square, which is their food bank. I'd like to end with that. The Cosmopolitan Hotel is going to join us. And 3 Square, I believe, is going to be the agency. Poverty in Las Vegas is horrific. And unfortunately, we just haven't done enough there. The Las Vegas Motor Speedway, which is a NASCAR track, gives Rocket Wrap It Up their food for the races that they do. It's just not enough to help feed the hungry of Las Vegas. Our goal is to really help them out. Thank you so much. And Max, thank you for setting look what a genius you are. So, and hopefully you continue to make your father and mother very, very proud. I love your parents. Love you. And God bless all of you. Thanks again. Denise, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.